We got another one. Video. YouTube's darkest videos number 8. Oh my god, I'm so excited, bro. He made another one. Let's go. 3 days ago. I am late, but you know. Here we go. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one. Flashing ammunition.
It was 2:46 p.m. when the ground began to shake.
God damn. Oh.
For residents of Anagawa, Japan,
Oh, I don't like that, dude. It's crazy how the earth can just like if it wanted to, it could just shake everything around you. Like if the earth really wanted to, it could just it could literally just kill everybody. This is a tsunami? I thought this was an earthquake. Yo, that is fucking crazy.
For residents of Anagawa, Japan, earthquakes were nothing new, but this one was different.
It's so frightening. Oh my god. I have never seen an earthquake ever. Like, felt it happen or seen it happen. This is the first time I've ever seen an earthquake. This is crazy though. Like, shit can really just move around you and you can't do nothing about it. Shit could just fall, crash. Damn, bro, that shit is terrifying.
It carried with it a violence that none of the locals had ever felt before, and by the time the shaking had stopped, everyone in the city seemed to be left in a momentary state of shock.
Okay.
This was especially true for the nearly 160 Chinese workers and students that had recently moved to the area, with most having never experienced any earthquake, let alone one of this magnitude. Of these workers were a tight-knit group of 20 women who had recently been hired as trainees at a company called Sato Susan, a company that sold fresh seafood.
Okay.
And having been at work at the time of the quake, they frantically ran out, desperately trying to figure out what to do next, unaware of the
Why?
fact that the real horrors were still yet to come.
Oh, because they thought they were safe?
In Japan, it's not just the earthquakes you have to worry about, but the tsunamis that often follow.
Oh, fuck.
And usually, the bigger the earthquake, the bigger the wave. And given that Anagawa was right on the sea...
Wait. Is it normal for when an earthquake happens? Is it normal for a tsunami to come right after? Or is that like just Japan? Because I feel like that would make sense for a tsunami to come right after an earthquake, because the earthquake is shaking up the water and stuff. So I feel like it would like pull and then come back and hit. Imagine having an earthquake, thinking you're safe, and then just getting slammed, bro. Oh my god. It must be... Yo, I would not imagine the day that you look up and see a tsunami. Like, it's over. Imagine you go outside, you look up one day, and it's just a wave. A magnitude that you've never seen in your life. Just coming at you, bro. That is the scariest shit ever. That is more scary. I feel like that's more scary than any other natural disaster. Seeing a tsunami chasing, it's because it looks like it's chasing after you. Like, that shit is chasing after you, and and it doesn't matter if you run, because it'll still get you, bro. It's a tsunami. It covers cities. It floods towns, dude. It destroys like skyscrapers. Like, I feel like that's the most terrifying one of all.
And Sato Susan was directly on the shoreline.
And they rip
These
you
women were
apart?
now standing directly in the path of an impending disaster.
Oh my god. I got
Thankfully,
goosebumps.
their boss, Mitsuro Sato, was well aware of what was to come, and quickly he yelled to the women to seek higher ground. But given their unfamiliarity with the area, Sato knew that he would have to be the one to lead them there. The group readily listened.
Good man.
And they quickly followed Sato as he led them up a set of stairs on a nearby hill, where they eventually
I know bro did not forget to say that he's like 6'6". He's a feminist, you know. Yeah, this guy, bro, they're not gonna fuck you, gang. You did not need to go and do all that.
reached a shrine that overlooked Anagawa and the sea. It was the highest point in the area, and should keep them safe from what would likely be a massive influx of water. And sure enough, as they neared the top...
Now, watching this, I know I'm pausing a lot, and I'm making jokes, and I sound like a dickhead. But, like, when it comes to natural disasters and like I'm uncomfortable, I crack jokes, dude. That's all I can do. Like like you know something bad happened and like you like think of how bad it is, bro. I just for me, bro, in my mind I try and line up the mood with jokes. I'm sorry. I'm like hella uncomfortable though watching this. That's probably why I do it.
Sato's
I'm
fears were
sorry.
already coming true. As the sea had drastically retreated,
trying to be a
it was now
dickhead.
beginning to push forward, and things were only going to get
Oh,
worse from
man.
here. But despite understanding altitude safe enough for this group of women, he then turned around and began to walk back down the
Why?
hill towards
Why?
the slowly flooding city. The girls yelled
Why?
at him, asking where
His wife and daughter were still at. Oh my god. Oh my god. You saved 20 women who aren't gonna fuck you, bro. And you left your wife and daughter at home.
he was going, which is when he revealed that down below in his home in Anagawa were his wife and his daughter, who were now directly in the path
Well, if they. Oh, they probably don't know, do they? Because they're in a house. Oh, fuck.
of this unfolding disaster, and he was going to save them. The girl screamed out to him,
Was that what
begging
that
him not
video
to go,
earlier was? Was he in the house? Oh my god.
as things had already become incredibly dangerous. And it was at this time that one of those girls standing high atop the hill began to record.
Chill, bro. Chill, bro. Chill. Oh, thank you.
All my life, family has been super important to me. I love my family, but I also realize I don't know much about them, at least outside of my
It is so crazy that this motherfucker literally talks about something bad, cuts halfway in, and talks about I care about my family. Here's an ad on how to protect and secure and keep your family safe. On literally a thing he's talking about where motherfuckers are like getting hit with tsunamis and shit and they can't protect their families. Are we serious, bro? That's hella ballsy of you. Are we serious?
immediate family members, and specifically my grandfather, who I never got the chance to meet. And
This
when
is an
thinking,
ad.
so
Oh God,
I ended
this
up
is
my
an ad.
heritage with my limited knowledge. Link or scan the QR code.
Long It's crazy. I don't like the I don't even like found footage horror movies, bro. And the fact that this is real found footage scares the shit out of me. It's daytime, I got chills. It's so bright in my room and I have chills. Is that him?
The footage shows that the shoreline was as it crept its way deeper and deeper
What am
into
I
the city
looking at?
streets. The women were understandably in a panic, trying to make sense of this ordeal that they were now given a front row seat to. And as they record, we can hear them desperately calling out for Sato. But at no point do we see him.
Why did they
We
start
just know
running
that he's down
downstairs?
there, somewhere. And as the desperation in their pleas increases, so too does the fury of the water.
It's getting worse. Yo, tell me he's safe, bro. Tell me he's good. Dude, hearing those sirens is the scariest shit ever. Yo, chill out with that, bro. Like, if we already know the tsunami's there, bro, you do not need to set those scary ass alarms off. That shit is horrifying.
Could only watch as Anagawa as they knew it was completely eviscerated.
What? This is what's scary about traveling, dude. I would love to travel and go places. But it depends at the time of year that you go, bro. Because, goddamn, bro, shit like this could happen. It's the scariest shit. Imagine something like this happens, you're not used to it, and you're stuck there. Oh my god, bro. I couldn't, man. It's just one of the risks you have to take with traveling. I would love to travel. But that shit is scary. And going on planes, bro, I don't like planes.
And by this point, they realized that there was now essentially no hope for Sato. It was at this time that the women realized that despite already being at a considerable height, it still might not be enough. And so they ran even higher up the hill, desperately trying to
Okay.
get out of the path of this water.
They're good though, right? Like they make it out alive though, right? They should be good.
And as they did so, they noticed something down below.
What? Show us.
Standing on a rooftop in the middle of this massive tsunami was Mitsudo Sato.
No.
The building that he stood on was once a full 2 stories off the ground, but was now
2 stories? Oh my god. And they were scared because it's gonna rise higher. Yo, he knows he's fucked. There's no way.
just a few inches above the surface of the water.
But he looks like he's chilling. Like, it just looks like he's chilling. Is he good?
The women again call out to him, this time even more frantically. But at this point, it was no use. And when the camera is taken off Sato for just a split second, we can hear just from the women's reaction the exact moment that he swept away.
What? No, it didn't rise, did it? Oh my god.
The recording stops shortly after and restarts minutes later, revealing that the streets where the women had been standing just moments before were now fully underwater, and the buildings that once stood around them were now reduced to nothingness.
Under that is all buildings? Oh my god. That shit is like 3 stories high. Oh my goodness. Are they like the only ones who survived? There's no way anybody else survived. Is there other places?
In front of them was a sea of death, and had Mitsudo Sato not led them up that hill, then all of these women would have certainly been a part of it.
Oh my god.
The date was March 11th, 2011, a day where Japan had been hit by its most devastating earthquake ever, with it ringing in at a magnitude 9.0, which in turn
God
caused the nation's
damn.
worst ever tsunami, as that day,
Holy shit.
19,759 people would lose their lives,
Oh my god.
with Mitsudo Sato being one of them.
It is so scary the fact that this shit is so real. Like, that's real. And the fact that there's like videos of these tragedies that you can see in real, like that you could see happen real time is so scary, bro. There's videos of this shit just laying around of people recording. It's so scary, bro.
But against all odds, his wife and daughter were not part of that death toll, as it's been reported that they were later found alive and unharmed. The
Where?
devastation that occurred that day is incomprehensible.
How?
And all the footage of this disaster
He wasn't, so he just... Oh shit, so he just
could warrant a
perished.
place in
So he just perished trying to save them, and they didn't even need to be saved. Oh my god. Bro did it all for nothing.
this video, especially the footage of Anagawa, as you can see what it looked like before, during, and after.
Oh my god.
But what I found so interesting about this was all throughout this disaster were stories like Sato's, a man who risked his life to save 20 women that he hardly knew, and a man who gave his life trying to save his family, walking directly into the path of the worst natural disaster in modern Japanese history, all in an attempt to save the ones that he loved. And I honestly find it quite beautiful that afterwards, these women adamantly shared his story and made sure that the world forever remembered Mitsudo Sato as the hero that he was. And of those 160 Chinese migrants who worked in the area, it was later reported that not a single one of them perished, which speaks volumes
Oh,
about the people
wow.
of Anagawa, who so readily put others' lives before their own.
That's a beautiful moment aside from the fact that...
Fire marshal is investigating a blaze in Georgetown.
Dude, why does he use this sound every time? It's the scariest shit ever, man. Stop! Please!
Two people found dead inside the home, and so far it's not known how
And in
the
the
fire.
garage. What's the year? Did that
It
say
was
2016?
Unknown how the fire
2021?
started.
Yo, I hate shit that's so recent, gang.
It was just past 5:30 a.m. on the 17th of February 2021 when residents of a small neighborhood in Georgetown, Ontario were woken by the sound of sirens blaring. One man frantically grabbed his cell phone and rushed outside to record the unfolding scene, where he was met with a horrific sight. His neighbor's home was fully engulfed in flames.
Oh, wow.
It must have happened quickly, as by the time rescue workers even arrived on the scene, there was already little hope of saving the house, or any of its occupants. It would take hours before that blaze was finally quelled, revealing the charred devastation inside, as firefighters would find the remains of 56-year-old Christina Rirak and 59-year-old Andrew Rirak within the home's garage. The cause of this fire was initially
Garage?
unknown, but quickly
Why were they in the garage? Because it looks like it's on the right side, or technically the left side if you're facing the same way the house is. They could have gone out the front door, because on that other side, there's no fire, unless it's in the building and not outside of it yet. But it looks like there's no light over there at all. Someone could have gone out.
Quickly, the situation
No?
was deemed suspicious when experts determined that the fire had started as a result of some sort of explosion that had happened within the garage where the couple's bodies were found.
That's what I'm
This was
saying.
later confirmed by
Like,
security
why were they
footage
in the garage? That is what is so weird to me. Cam footage. Oh,
obtained
fuck.
from a neighbor who lived across the street, capturing the moments when it suddenly ignited around 5:27 a.m. There was clearly something off with this case, and things only became more sinister following the autopsies of Andrew and Christina, which revealed that they hadn't actually died in that fire,
What?
and instead, both of them had been stabbed to death,
What?
with Andrew also being badly beaten. This fire wasn't started to kill
who's
them,
their,
it was started to cover up
who's the
their
child?
murder, and it did a good job of it too.
It's obviously the kid, bro. Their kid definitely killed them. Or who's like their son or daughter or whatever.
As the scene was now left completely destroyed, with very little evidence being left behind.
Man in charge of murder.
But there was something else investigators
arson.
thought to check. That's security footage. The camera had been facing the garage where all of this carnage seemed to have happened, and so they thought maybe if they looked back far enough, it could at the very least show what had led up to this brutal attack.
Right.
And so they rewound that footage, going back hours and hours, during all of which the garage had remained perfectly still, until they got all the way back to 6:42 of the day prior, February 16th.
The day prior? You don't need this eerie. Yo, bro, you do not need this scary ass music that literally puts chills down my spine on a video of just a car driving in a driveway or into their garage. Are we serious, bro? I mean, shit.
The film showed the moments that the couple had arrived home together inside of Christina's car, which Andrew had been driving that night, as he pulled uneventfully into the garage. This was the last time this couple was seen alive on camera, which on its own is disturbing enough. But as it turns out, there was something far more unsettling about this footage, as it revealed the fact that Christina and Andrew weren't alone.
What do you mean I didn't see anybody? Did someone run behind their car? Ooh. Oh my god, it did! Oh my god, I was right. And he gets in? No, continue playing it, gang. Does he get in the car? He runs up.
The footage showed a tall figure, its features completely shrouded in darkness, almost as if it were a shadow, with this figure lying in wait out of sight on the side of the house, until right after Andrew pulls the car into the garage, when this person slips in behind them. It's impossible to say for sure if the couple noticed this person or not, but it appears that they likely didn't, as they both start to exit the vehicle, to which the figure then ducks down in an attempt to avoid detection.
Wait, how did they both get out? I only
Until
saw
the
one
garage
of them.
door begins to slowly close.
Uh-oh.
Either Christina or Andrew would make it out of that garage
Stuck in the
alive,
house.
as just seconds after this footage, they both would be brutally murdered by this unidentified person.
So why did
The
take?
footage is terrifying
So
and
why
speaks to
did
that
take
innate fear in
years?
most
I
of
mean, not
us.
years.
The
A day
fear of
later.
being followed, of being watched, and attacked in the moments where we least expect it. It's paranoia inducing, and made even more off putting by the fact that this clearly seemed to be
I
premeditated.
guess, bro. But
Whoever
if it's
this
your time,
was
it's
knew
your
their
time
schedule.
to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, if you're meant to die, you're meant to die. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. If you're meant to survive, then you're meant to survive. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, bro. That's how I think of it as, bro. Like, you're telling me it's just a coincidence that man was waiting for those specific people to pull up in their own garage and sit there behind their car and wait for them specifically to get out and close the garage so he can kill those specific people. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. It's got, like, I feel like that's got to be like a fate thing, right? Like, that's got to be fate or something. It's got to be something like that. There's no fucking way. You really expect me to believe that everything just happens because people do it for no reason. There's got to be a reason, bro.
And had been waiting for them to arrive home, in a place where they knew they wouldn't be seen. But by this point, their motivation was as unknown as their identity. Following the discovery of this footage, bits and pieces were released to the press in order to get the public's help in identifying this unknown assailant. It represented a rare instance of a killer being clearly caught on camera right before committing a crime, but that's also what made this case so frustrating, as despite the video capturing this person, none of their features were discernible at all. Unsurprisingly, the footage didn't bring in any relevant leads, but it at the very least showed investigators that whoever this person was knew the couple, due to its obvious premeditation. Though when looking into both Andrew and Christina, it was clear that neither of them.
I don't like how, because anytime he shows a specific image, look in the background. There's always something that catches, like, that you know, like, that's the killer.
Really had any enemies in their life, with the exception of one. Harrison Brown was a 27-year-old employee at a company called Rogue Transportations, of which Christina happened to be the vice president of operations, and during his time there, Harrison was known to be abrasive and combative, with Christina often having to be the one to reprimand him, leading to Harrison resenting her. It isn't clear how police were tipped off about this strained working relationship, but they had somehow grown suspicious enough of Harrison to pay his home a visit, and what they found inside showed that this resentment he had towards Christina had actually morphed into a twisted obsession. Inside, police found satellite images of the Rear-X home, along with the software on the man's computer and cell phone that showed that on the 12th of February, he had secretly attached a tracking device to Christina's car.
What?
And he had been tracking her movements for days, which is precisely how he knew when she would be arriving home. And as if this revelation wasn't damning enough, they would also find a broken knife in his garage that contained trace amounts of Christina's blood. It was obvious what Harrison had done, and when confronted with this evidence, there was nothing more he could say other than the truth. So he admitted he had grown a hatred for Christina because of the way that she had treated him at work, and he decided that he needed to get his revenge. That's when
I guess be nice to everybody, bro, because holy shit. She probably wasn't even being a dickhead, bro. You were probably being a dickhead, and she just had to, like, chill, bro. You can't be doing this no more.
he purchased this tracking device and began obsessing over her movements, studying them before finding the perfect time and place to strike. And on February 16th, he waited outside the Rear-X home and snuck into their garage before attacking and killing them both. After the assault, Harrison would leave the home, where he began to grow paranoid about being caught, and so he returned to the house the very next morning to start that fire, with the hopes being that the blaze would cover up his tracks.
You know what's funny? If he didn't start that fire, he probably would have been okay.
Though thankfully, this didn't work, and after pleading guilty to 2 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of arson, Harrison Brown would be sentenced to life in prison.
All 20, OMV, roll over TC. I've got an unresponsive female. I got a male in the car, refusing to get out.
What?
It's the eve of Thanksgiving, 2015.
Oh my god.
Police officer Patrick Feaster sits in his cruiser parked on
Yo. I don't want to say nothing, gang. Now, if this guy dies later in the video, I'm sorry, but I have to point out, he looks like, you know those images that, like, are like people's faces that are like reconstructed? and they're supposed to be scary, like they're like abnormally or something, and they're supposed to freak you out, his face looks like that. His face doesn't suit his head. His head is too big for his body. And he has the craziest neck, double chin, whatever I've ever seen.
Alongside the road in the town of Paradise, California.
Okay, wait. Chill on me, okay?
It's the eve of Thanksgiving 2015.
Now, I'm taking a screenshot of this, bro. I got my new profile picture. What the fuck, gang? In honor and memory.
Police officer Patrick Feaster sits in his cruiser parked alongside the road in the town of Paradise, California, waiting for his first action of this uncharacteristically quiet night. His car was facing the direction of a well-known local.
Do cops even get a break, like a day off, bro? Like, it's Thanksgiving Eve, bro. Give this man a fucking break.
Cantina, which patrons were known to drive away from under the influence. And sure enough, as the clock approached midnight, the calmness around Feaster would be shattered by the sight of a car speeding out of the restaurant's parking lot. The car went unseen by Feaster's dashcam, but not by Feaster himself, as he took off, doing his best to catch up with the car that was now speeding down the road, and within a few seconds, he does. As the car slowly comes into frame for the first time, inside that vehicle was 26-year-old Andrew Thomas and his ex-wife, 23-year-old Darian Aaron. Andrew had been drinking heavily that night and was well over the legal limit, with his driving showing as much as he failed to pull over once Feaster approached him, resulting in a police chase that would only end up lasting just a few seconds.
What do you mean just a few seconds? Does he die in a crash? What?
All 20, on-view rollover TC, Houston.
Oh my God.
East of Black Olive.
Copy, rollover TC, east of Black
Code
Olive.
3.
As Andrew would drive his car directly into a median, causing the SUV to flip
Holy
over
shit.
violently before coming to a halt on its side.
Get him out of there, bro. Get him out of there before it
In that
blows up.
instant, Darian was ejected from the vehicle, being thrown straight through the windshield and landing onto the asphalt, where, despite still being alive, her injuries were likely unsurvivable. But Andrew, on the other hand, was still inside the vehicle, and he seemed to have been left relatively unharmed.
Always wear your seatbelt, gang. Always wear your seatbelt. You don't know what might happen.
As perhaps being boosted by adrenaline, he quickly tried to crawl his way out of the car in a desperate attempt to check on Darian, with Officer Feaster's dashcam capturing the entire ordeal. Though just as Andrew attempted to do so, we see Feaster step into the frame,
What?
where he suddenly draws his gun and, without saying a single word, fires 2 shots at Andrew, with one of the bullets appearing to strike him, causing his body to go limp as he falls back into the car. It happened in a literal instant, so fast.
What the fuck? What? What? Dude, there's got to be an explanation. Why? I'm so lost. Why?
That it's clear Feaster had most likely accidentally discharged his weapon, as there was
Accidentally?
no attempt at communication before the shot was fired, with Andrew clearly posing no risk to him, as both of his hands were being used to hoist himself up. From the footage, this all seems to be a horrible accident, and one that Feaster seemed to recognize right away, as he rushed up to the car, pointing his flashlight at the man that he had just shot, staring at him for over 10 seconds, trying to make sense of what he had just done, before he finally snaps out of it, and uses his radio to call for backup. Though this is when this already dark video starts to become much more disturbing.
What? It gets worse?
I've got an unresponsive female. I got a male in the car refusing to get out.
When Feaster makes this call, he never mentions the shooting, and instead he states that the driver was refusing to get out of the vehicle. This is then followed by Feaster walking away from the man and pointing his flashlight to the ground, almost as if he was looking for something.
Oh, he's looking for the
Copy, give
casing
your cross on Black
of
Olive.
what he shot.
Pearson.
Copy, Black
His
Olive and
bullet
Pearson.
casings. He's looking for his bullet
With some
casings.
theorizing that he was looking for his shell casings.
Yep.
Though right then, another officer arrives on the scene and begins to survey the wreckage.
Just her?
No, there's a male in the car refusing to get out.
Where, again, Feaster says that Andrew was refusing to get out of the car, making no mention of the fact that he had just shot him. It's clear at this point what Feaster was trying to do. He was trying to cover up his accident, but this suddenly became more difficult.
Okay, they got one. He's refusing to get out. Get out of the car, sir. You're not shot, sir. Get out of the car.
Andrew Thomas
What?
was still alive.
Yeah. Why did you say you're not shot, sir, in front of all of them?
And had muttered to Feaster that he had been shot, but even to his face, Feaster denies it. Shortly after, Andrew then tries to tell the other cop what had happened.
Sir, I'm refusing to come out of the car, but the car is still on and I don't want you to get hurt.
Behind him?
What do you mean you got shot?
Yeah, I was right there. I saw it.
Did you get shot at the cantina? Who shot you? The cop did not shoot you.
But understandably, this other cop wasn't believing him, as surely Feaster would have said something at this point. And so,
Yeah.
the minutes start to pass. And after 5 full minutes, Feaster continues processing the scene like nothing had happened, with the other officer being left to theorize that Andrew must have been seriously injured and was likely in a state of shock, which is why he was making all of these strange claims about being shot.
He may be hurt in there. Yeah, I know he is. He's in shock at the very least.
From here, the footage cuts, and we're only left with the audio from that same officer's body cam, as he attempts to get more information from Andrew.
Get him
Sir,
out.
I need you to talk to me so I know you're okay. Sir, take a look at me. Did you bump your head?
But by this point, he had gone completely silent.
He's dead. He got shot. You sat there for Oh, he's on the ground right there. You sat there for 5 minutes and didn't get him out, and he's been shot. He's probably dead.
10 minutes cuts back on, this time to their body cam, which shows that an ambulance had now finally arrived on the scene, with mention to was in the worst shape. Shortly after, all of these first responders on the scene, none of them had. The man inside that vehicle had just been shot, and shot. And Andrew was slowly losing his life.
That's what I'm saying.
It would take 11 full minutes.
Sir, you hold with me. We're going over to the canteen to find out.
Saying that he shot the man, but he wasn't sure. And immediately the recording is stopped and the footage comes to an end. Sure enough, in that moment, Officer Patrick Feaster had an Andrew Thomas, with a bullet striking him directly in the he wasn't getting out of his vehicle was because that gunshot had left him from the neck down.
Oh my god.
His condition was awful and made worse by the length of time to receive proper treatment. Andrew Thomas would lose his life less than 1 month. Afterwards, Feaster wasn't actually sure if he had hit Andrew. He goes off while he's pointing it at Andrew, and he clearly.
Oh my god. It's not even that this is just disturbing or whatever. This just pisses me off. This man literally lost his life because this cop is so fucking stupid. Whatever, bro.
Not to mention the fact that he told him over and over again that he was shot. But for many, the most incriminating moment was when Feaster appeared to be looking for things. Officer Pat
Days. Are we serious? I don't believe it, bro. Let's give him like a one fucking school semester, dude. Are we fucking serious? 180 days?
A decision that was
You gotta be
upheld.
shirking my shit. There's no way.
And while no one is defending Andrew Thomas drink and drive that night, Feaster's bring it up, make this footage.
It's difficult to explore this theory without being able to show the full footage, so I recommend looking up the case for yourself and drawing your own conclusion. Okay. But I deadass thought he just walked up and intentionally shot him. And then looked to see if he got shot or if he could move. And then get his shell casing to cover it up. It does seem like he just walked up and shot him though, I'm not gonna lie.
Do this for real, bro. I don't got no problem with giving back, man. I'm just actually giving back, you feel me?
Yeah,
And I got
QC.
Bank in Chicago, Illinois, to deposit $20,000 cash, which he fans.
man, about to go get this for the fans, man. Really, I'm gonna take.
Quamain had carved out a respectable
cool
following
guy.
on his YouTube channel, where he acted in a series called The Nick Story.
One more word out your mouth, and that's your last. It's your life. I'm gonna take it myself and put it in my graveyard with the rest of them.
Along with posting music he made under the name Young QC.
Out her song, but not until she's. I know she will. I'm gonna get you.
Based on his viewership alone, his success
It's not even bad. Like, if he was, I'm assuming he's dead. If he was alive today, bro, he would be a hit. He would be a
was
hit.
apparent, and he wasn't
5.6 million views for the first episode? Oh my god, have I not seen that?
shy about showing off the wealth that he claimed to have accrued as a result of it, posting
Nice.
photos and videos of himself flaunting large amounts of cash across his social media
Good for him, and
pages.
he's trying to give back.
But this video was by far his most boastful yet, as he would take that $20,000 and throw it into the air for all of his fans to fight over. With Quamain clearly relishing in the opportunity to show off his riches, despite the fact that behind the scenes, things weren't quite as they seemed. The truth was, Quamain had actually from his channel despite its viewership, with this being on account of his videos containing copywritten music, and the fact that he only had a dozen or so uploads. In fact, his social media flexing had started well before he even made his first video, as in reality, all of this money was coming straight from his mother, Yolanda Holmes.
Oh shit.
Having started a successful business in Chicago, Yolanda made a great living for herself and Quamain. And being her only son, Quamain was given just about anything he could have asked for. She would buy him designer clothes, jewelry, and even the Mustang seen in this video. But for Quamain, it never seemed to be a life of fame and riches, and he used his mother's finances to sell the illusion that he already had, asking her again and again to purchase him things that could help him sell this dream, until one day, it all came crashing down, when Yolanda would tragically lose her life.
What?
Just like that, Quamain's entire support system had fallen out beneath his feet, leaving him without his mother and without the provider who was funding his entire life. But strangely, this didn't seem to stop his lavish online presence. In fact, his spending only seemed to increase after this.
He killed her for the money. Oh my god, that is fucking crazy.
As this footage of him giving away money to fans actually took place after the death of his mother, which became extremely off-putting for law enforcement, as Yolanda hadn't simply passed away, and instead, she had been brutally murdered. Quamain had learned something shortly before Yolanda's passing, that not only were his mother's savings entirely willed to him, but she had also taken out 2 life insurance policies, in which he was the sole beneficiary. And despite Yolanda giving him anything that he could have asked
Oh
for,
my God.
it seemed that by this point, Quamain had simply grown tired of having to ask. And so, on September 2nd, 2012, He would offer his friend Eugene Spencer $3,500 to kill his own mother. Eugene accepted the offer, and that night he would travel to Holmes late at night, where he entered her room and shot her multiple times as she slept. At the time, her boyfriend had been sleeping next to her, and despite jumping up and doing his best to fight off the attacker, Eugene would eventually beat him unconscious before fleeing the scene. Eugene would call Quamain immediately after the attack to tell him that the job was done, but rather than feeling any sort of guilt, Quamain instead had no emotion, and he simply stated, "Make sure the bitch is gone."
Oh my god.
And with that, Quamain Holmes was a rich man, and it only cost him the life of his own mother.
Jesus Christ.
For a moment, the crime had worked perfectly. The police were left with no concrete leads as to who might have killed Yolanda, and the public largely believed that it was her boyfriend, whom Eugene had knocked unconscious. But no one even thought to look at Quamain. And recognizing that he was in the clear, his behavior grew brazen almost immediately.
Quamain Wilson lost his mother to gun violence on November 14th.
My mother, she was a neighborhood woman. A guy entered her home, and murdered her, just to steal.
As he went on TV to talk about his mother's murder, where he peddled the theory to the public that this was some sort of botched robbery, all the while he showed no emotion. He wouldn't even wait a full week before depositing the money, as he took out $90,000 within just the first few days, and immediately began showing it off to his followers. And in this footage where he gave away that $20,000, throwing it into the air as if it meant nothing to him, every cent of that had come from the death of his own mother, a death in which he was entirely responsible for. It would take over a full year for Quamain and Eugene to be caught, with police largely being and in the end, Eugene was given a 100-year prison sentence, while Quamain received 99 years, with his legacy now permanently defined by his creation of one of YouTube's darkest videos.
Holy shit, bro. Dude, this Dark Series shit, yo, he's so good at it, bro. He, like, oh my god. I feel so uncomfortable now. I thank you. I'll see you on the next one, YouTube.